Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's special session on a live discussion with Rahul Jain. First of all, I'm very, very happy. And Rahul, congratulations. You have got an All India 50th rank. That is something what many of us dream to get it, but everyone is not able to do that. You would have really taken lot of efforts, lot of commitment, lot of sacrifices. That must be the only reason why you have reached this. And I'm so proud of you, so happy. And above all, Rahul, I would like to specially thank you that I just requested you once and you never showed any kind of busyness or demand. Some people will be like, I'm busy, this or that. You were very down to earth. You were on the spot, like, yes, I'm ready to contribute back to the students community. And trust me, Rahul, today's one session of yours will actually help a lot of students to develop their strategy, to plan for the upcoming exams, and to take it forward. So from the bottom of my heart, Rahul, thank you so much for agreeing to come live and speak to all the students. Thank you so much.
The
Okay.
pleasure is all mine, sir. The recruiters are watching me as well. That's why.
Great. Very happy to know that, Rahul. So friends, now what I'm going to do next is I have a set of questions which I myself wanted to ask Rahul. So to just be very clear, it's all impromptu questions over here. I don't know what Rahul will answer, but whatever it is, it has to be honest from the bottom of his heart so that everyone can benefit. And once I finish a few, I have around 7 to 8, 9 questions, I believe, of mine, which I want to ask him, which I feel are the questions of most students also. After this, each one of you will be given time. You can raise your hands, and if you have any queries, you can directly ask Rahul yourself, and he will be happy to clear all your doubts for you. Okay. So students, are you all ready? Please type a yes or ready in the chat box so we can start off with today's session. Are you all ready? Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic. Very happy to know that. So Rahul, once again, congratulations. You've got an All India 50th rank. So my first question to you, the day the results came, okay, and you were actually in front of in your laptop, your mobile phone, entering your roll number. How did you feel, and what was the feeling you were going through at that point of time?
If I have to really speak very honestly, soon after my exams, the exams were so easy that I had thought I would not even pass my exams. But then people around me were believing in me so very much that I had some thought, at least pass to ho hi jaunga karke. But then when I saw 386 marks, since the very morning, they were stuck to the screen. All the CA finalists who were expecting the results on that day, because there were rumors coming in that it will be coming around by 9 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, 12, etc. And finally, at 6 o'clock, we were more certain that it would be coming around that point in time. I had all my family people around me. We are a nuclear family. My sister is also a CA. So we were just sitting together. I'm literally an atheist, okay? But I just chanted Navkar Mantra. I entered my roll number, waited for 3 seconds, and then I clicked enter. I saw 386 marks. The first thing I saw was successful. Then when I saw 386 marks, I thought, I've missed a rank. Because usually 386 marks is not something a rank worthy marks, I would say. But especially because the attempt was so difficult, I have been lucky enough to get a rank, I would say. So being just a little optimistic, I entered my roll number even on the merit list, and there it was, 50th rank. I mean, 1 mark shorter, I would have regretted my entire life decisions till I went till my own grave. That was something that I felt.
Wow.
And after my results, the number of calls that I've attended, the number of messages that have gone from people who have been out of touch for so many years, it was a really very good moment, sir.
I'm so happy to know that, Rahul, that you could get that, and that 1 mark actually would have made a very big difference. So I'm so happy to know this, Rahul. Very good. I'm so happy for you. Now let's do one thing. Now you got the results. That's something what all of us are dreaming for. So let's go to the next part as to how did you study during your study leave time? Like what time you used to get up? What were the habits you used to follow on a daily basis? I believe you must be very consistent, without which getting these kind of marks is not very much possible. So just share your routine and your habits.
Correct. So for me, the one best part was all my classes were done before my exam leave. In fact, I had completed all my classes even before the mid of 2024. When I had texted you, I had typed that I was a student of November 24, but that was not actually true. I am very bad at keeping my timelines. I am that husband who would not remember his anniversary. I'm that kind of a person. But it was actually November 2023 when I had joined your classes, that batch. It was SFM batch. At that point in time, it was SFM. So it was a slight tinkering of things which was made in the syllabus. Thereafter, I had to just refer to a few amendments which were made in the new subject. So the best part was my classes were done. I had 4 months of exam leave. My one non-negotiable point was my sleep. I used to go to bed by 10:30, wake up by 7:30, which is about 8.5, 9 hours of sleep in the night. I used to not compromise because this is something that I followed from a very beginning. Even when I was a kid, I used to sleep for more than 10 hours. So that was something which was very non-negotiable. And in fact, I used to also take an afternoon nap for about 30 to 45 minutes. That was very much important for me because it felt like I had 2 days in a single day. Soon after I take a nap, I feel very refreshed, right? So that helped me break my things. I could focus on one subject before the nap and one subject after the nap, feeling it to be a really very new day. And you were speaking of the consistency. Yes, I have maintained consistency. That was mainly possible because I had automated throughout my day. What I used to do was I had set up a routine on my assistant speakers, Google Assistant speaker. Each morning at around 7 o'clock, it used to wake me up. In 45 minutes, for 45 minutes, I will be studying. It'll loudly scream out saying that this is your 5 minute break time. After 5 minutes, it used to tell that you go back to study. This is how I've maintained consistency. So if you had to come around 11 o'clock every morning, you would find me doing the same thing each day. That was the kind of consistency I tried to follow. The accuracy of it, I would say 85-90% of it is what I would rate it. And one thing which not many speak about is uh, physical activities are very much required. You cannot just be studying for long hours like that. So I used to do a little bit of yoga every morning, and that really helped me. Breathing exercises are something which helped me keep calm, not just during the exam preparations but also during my examination day as well. And we are all Gen Zs, right? A few might be also millennials, but that's all right. But mobile phones are something that we are very much addicted to. I had made sure that I would be cutting that out. If I have to speak about my screen time, 4 months prior to the 4 months exam period, my average screen time for a day was about 4 hours. But thereafter, soon after I entered my exams, I used to just switch off my phone, keep it in my cupboard. So I had broken down that 4 hours to 4 hours a week. Gradually, it also went down to 4 hours a month. So because of this, I also lost touch with a lot of my closest friends. They also respected my time because everyone is actually doing CA as only. But one thing that I always had in mind is I have to have that free period. So in a week of 7 days, my study time was only 6.5 days. That one Sunday evening, I always made sure that I would be going out with my family and spending time with them, which used to make me feel relaxed because that very much required, right? That was what my
Amazing.
whole routing was.
Rahul, that's amazing. And friends, very, very important lesson. I was worried that you will tell I used to sleep for 5 hours, 6 hours, like others say. I am a person who always in my classes, maybe if you remember it, I always keep saying sleep is very, very important. And what you're doing is using the sleep technique. So, friends, one very important lesson for all of you. You can get an all India rank by sleeping. He used to sleep, if you calculate it right, 10:30 to 7 is 8.5 hours. Plus 30 minutes is 9 hours he used to sleep, but because you used to sleep, whatever you study used to get retained in your mind. That storage is also very, very important, and you could perform consistently because your mind was at rest. I keep telling in many of my classes, many people, they sleep less and they try to work hard. Very, very important point, Rahul. I really appreciate you telling the same thing, and I'm happy you did the same routine that I always tell. Second very important thing, I also keep telling in my classes, we should do exercise. Yoga is amazing. Yoga has rejuvenated me multiple times. Okay, I am a great follower of Surya Namaskar and multiple other workouts. And as you said, 30 minutes spending for exercise and almost 9 hours for sleep means your body is very consistent, and that's the reason you were able to perform very, very well. The third part that you said as a Gen Z, it's something what me as a millennial might not have been understood. That you used to use a technique where that who used to talk to you basically? You had a
So
device that
the
will tell you the times and
Alexa.
everything.
So basically Alexa.
Alexa. Okay, so you can tell Alexa to you can set the time like Alexa will tell you at this time you have to take a break, get up,
Right.
study everything. You can preset in Alexa, is it?
Right. I'm a tech freak, so I just keep on experimenting all these things, right?
Wow. That's something new that even I should try learning. Okay, I'll definitely learn that and get back to you, Rahul, if I have any doubts. Okay. So,
Sure,
friends,
sure, sir.
he is using technology for his advantage. We normally use phones for Instagram, Snapchat. He's using the technology so that he can get more focused and learn more. And a very, very big appreciation that from 4 hours a day, if your time is coming down to 4 hours a month, that is amazing. That is something what most of us cannot do. And yes, Sundays evening, spending time with your family, that emotional support is where that help you to get along much better. And hats off to your family, they supported you throughout and they were with you every Sunday evening. Many a times families are also busy with their own activities and kids are left alone. But I respect in your case, your family was also there to support you. Great, Rahul. Very happy to know that. Now Rahul comes to the next part. You said you were consistent, you were having 80 to 85% of consistency was there. But as a human being, now even me, multiple times when I was studying, and I think many of the students also, there will be a time when we'll feel depressed, we'll feel broken down, we'll feel like where are we going, whether I'll be clearing the exam or not. That tension comes in many a times. How did you deal with that, or did you feel that way, or you were always confident?
So it's quite natural to be feeling that, quite honestly. So I did my coaching at an institute called as CAPS, and that's how I got connected to you as well. So there we are not just taught about how and where to study and all of those things. We are taught about very different things. Even for example, in your classes, you were starting all the sessions with things like talking about a book, or even ending for that matter was about Atomic Habits. I can talk about all of those books, like those things. And also there were sessions that was conducted at our coaching center, which used to be just how to teach, how to do yoga and all of those things. We used to collectively do yoga. All of those things used to happen. In fact, we used to also have sessions to just manage stress. So that has helped me to keep my momentum going on. And but quite honestly speaking, that is not, that is helpful. But then 3 4 months continuous studies, even the best people will have their worst days. I, at the top of my mind, I can think of one real incident which had happened just a week before my exam. It was the last week of December, where I was mentally torn. I could not concentrate on anything, but I could not afford to do that because my exams were just a week away. And like I had told, I had almost disconnected all my ties with my friends. But then I rang up one of my closest friends. His name is Likit. That 6 minutes conversation that I've had just a week before my exams has helped me, has played a major role in where I am today, I would have to say. So that is how the people around you makes you feel that you are worth things which you do not know on your own. And that is what that 6 minutes long conversation has helped me.
Fantastic. So that again is one of the lessons that I keep telling in my class. Have a win-win buddy. I'm not sure, Rahul, if you remember that. Yes, and
Yes, yes.
you're from CAP. Okay, I didn't know from which academy you were. Shetty sir is a legend. Okay, I respect him a lot. High energy, even after teaching for so many years. He's a yoga believer very very strongly. And yes, yoga transforms people. I also believe in that because it connects everything. There is a book by Rujuta Divekar. Now, since you like reading about books, it talks about, the book's name is Don't Lose Out Workout. In that book, they talk about strength training, cardio, yoga. The way they say yoga is basically a mix of all the things. So that actually helps a lot. So great to know about that. And yes, friends, please have a win-win buddy, a friend who is also working along with you, who wants to clear the exam. So when you're depressed, that friend will be there to support you. When your friend is depressed, you should also be there for him. So that way, that 6 minutes or 10 minutes of talking time will actually create a very big impact, and you can keep the phone off in the remaining time. Other people can all wait. You can talk to them once your exams are over. So Rahul, a very very good message that you have given over there. Happy to know about that. Now Rahul, let's come to my subject, AFM. Okay, ultimately I'm a bit biased towards AFM, so I would like to ask you a few questions about AFM. So just tell me, Rahul, how did you approach the AFM
Right.
paper? How did you study, so that many of my students also can get to know and they can also follow the same strategy?
Right. So if I have to divide it into phases, first I will just speak of how my classes went. Like I told, I joined my articleship in March 2023. Soon after, I guess about a month or so, or 2 or 3 months, within that period only, I started with my classes. And the time of the classes was this. It used to be a morning class all the other subjects used to be in the morning. Thereafter, I used to go to the office, and at around 8 o'clock in the evening, AFM class was there, SFM at that point in time. The problem with me was that I could not study for longer hours and I could not be very much dedicated towards that long of a day. Like I told, I sleep a lot. That is why I could not exactly attend 100% of your classes live, but I somehow managed to attend all of those classes, cover it up fastly within the November deadline, which was given for the recorded class. So I did that for my classes. But speaking of my preparations, so we were all kids, right, when we were in articleship. So soon after my classes, I had given myself a break of about 8 to 10 months. I did not even touch my book, which I think was really wrong. If I had spent that amount of time on studying, I might have not missed out my AIR one, of course. So if I have to speak about how my preparations really began, November 25 was supposed to be my exams. But then, thanks to ICI, it got deferred by 2 months to Jan 26. I remember when I first wanted to study AFM, it was somewhere, I guess, in June 2025. That was the first time I touched the book after the classes. I straight up took study material because that is what my mindset was, that if there's a simple question that I asked myself: if I have to get an all India rank one, which material would I be choosing? It will of course be a study material, is what I thought at that point in time. Thereafter, I started reading from the first chapter of study material only. I did not follow any specific order. But then soon after I started the reading, I was like, there are 15 chapters. Each chapter one day, I will complete my first reading in 15 days. That was what my thought process was. But then once I started with the chapters of study material, I was lost in the study material. That was what my feeling was, because the order in which study material is perhaps is not something would be exam efficient, would be what my suggestion would be. But then somehow I had to finish my first reading, so that I take that box of first reading. I finished my first reading from the study material. Thereafter, after a few days, I was just focusing on other chapters. When my second reading came, it was, I think, a week or two before my exam leaves began. Like I told, I do not really keep track of how much time I've spent on things, and I do not exactly remember. I'm just telling whatever comes to my mind. But when I started the second reading, I started with the marathon videos that you had uploaded on YouTube, because although it's been a long time since I have attended the classes, I was used to the way in which you had taught things. I still remember the way you used to just take out the Zerodha app sometimes to just place a trade. You used to take out money control app. Those are the things that I relate to a lot, because even before I was in CA final, I used to go to those apps, research about things, and that seemed very familiar to me. So, which is why even your teaching style was very much adaptive to me. So I watched those marathon videos. I followed that order only. There were a few chapters which was not covered in the marathon videos, which I obviously covered at the end on my own. Thereafter, my subsequent readings, and even in fact during my second reading, after referring to my marathon videos, again I went back to the study material, because at end of the day, I had to get all India rank one, and that was what I was working for as well. And I had to solve each and every question of study material. Whether it is 25 questions, 50 questions, whatever it is, I've solved all the study material questions, not just once but multiple times. And each time I got faster and understood better. If I have to speak of an incidental thing, what really helped me was also the mock tests. Mock test series are really very important. If I have to speak of one difference that is there in Rahul Jain, who was preparing for final exams, and Rahul Jain, who was preparing for inter exams, that one specific difference out of many would be this mock test. I in inter and anything prior to that, I have never given any mock test at all, because I used to not believe in mocks. And even if it was the first time I was writing in CA final also. So somewhat like something or the other, you have to just give the mocks so that it will help you believe in yourself. It is just an exam before an exam. I might be harsh in saying this, but if you don't write mocks, the exams will mock at you. That's for sure. And there will certainly be a next time, right? And one underrated thing which has helped me a lot is making my own notes. You will have to understand that the notes which are given by faculties are made for an audience of thousands of people. But if you have a habit of making your own notes, you will be the only audience for that note, and you will be having yourself in the future, your future self in the mind, who will be reading that notebook, right? So you will be writing whatever is relevant to you, not the other thousands of people. I remember I had made notes in such a way. I have, like I told, I've solved so many questions. I started loving the subject. There was replacement problems in advanced capital budgeting. There are a total of, I think, 3 types of questions which are there in the chapter relating to that concept. I had made charts. Illustration so and so has this kind of a thing. Illustration XYZ has this kind of a thing. This contrasting and comparison helped me have a better understanding of the subject. The same thing even happened with the concept of this future contracts, the fate of future contracts. That really helped me. And like I told, I have solved the questions so many times that I had created my own ways of solving the questions with repeated revisions. And yeah,
Amazing.
so that was all about how I was preparing for it. And 2 other things which I have to really suggest, if you permit me to say this, certified
Yes.
copies. So you are all preparing for what to write and all of those things, but you're not preparing for how to present your answers. So one very important thing that I did was I referred to multiple certified copy analysis, which is available on YouTube. For each subject, I've at least referred to 2 times, 2 certified copies, so that I used to understand how should I be presenting things, what is the evaluator even checking. That was more important. This might not be that very much relevant for AFM because study material has it all. A few theory questions, yes, it might help, but subjects like audit, if I have to slightly deviate, subjects like audit require certified copy analysis the most. And second thing which is relevant for AFM is that, like again, another tech thing, sir, that really I used was to simplify the formulas. There is one duration ka formula, right? 1 plus y by y. I gave that question, I gave that formula to ChatGPT. Simplify it and give it to me is what I told. It broke down, it gave me logical things as to how should I be remembering that formula. And that is how I used to memorize the formulas as well. And I also remember one specific problem of portfolio management. There was some XYZ question was there. That question also, I was not able to easily grasp things. So that question also, I just fed it into ChatGPT. I asked for it to give me a simplified form of answering the question, and it really helped me gain the knowledge of that question as well.
Amazing, amazing, Rahul. So, a lot of lessons. I also, learning from you. I'll go to ChatGPT. I will put the duration formula. Let me see what it gives me, so I can use it for the future students also. Right? That's a very good point. And friends,
Right.
as Rahul Jain has rightly said, if you want to get a rank, we have to cover all the questions of the study material. Okay, Rahul, I would like to tell you one thing. I think you attended in November 23, right? After your attempt, I believe in 24, I have
Right.
come up with a book called as a mastery book. This mastery book is basically nothing but all the
Yes.
study material questions and the past 10-year question papers solved in my methodology. That's basic data, analysis, conclusion. So it becomes very much more logical. So students, just a message to all of you, either go by the study. Have you gone through that, Rahul, that book? No, right? I don't think it was not
Yes. I
published
just
yet.
wanted to add that only. So no, you had not published it during my my classes, of course. But thereafter, I had ordered the mastery book. I had kept that book untouched for 4 to 5 months. During, I think, September 24th or October 24th is when I had ordered, and 4 or 5 months I was not preparing for my exams. So that is why I kept it aside. And my first reading was
Okay.
through study material. That is why I had not referred to that. But during my second reading, while I was referring to the marathon videos, I had referred to the mastery book as well. That helped me a lot. But although because I was short on time, I could not solve each and every questions. But I made sure that I solved whichever question that you had given in the marathon, because you had referred to a
Okay.
few questions from the marathon, sorry, mastery book only, which is why
Okay.
I had
Great. Great.
referred to
Great.
that book as well, and which really helped me as well.
Great, great, Rahul. Very happy to know that. So now I've started fully focusing on the mastery book. Just like as you said, we need to cover maximum number of questions. So friends, a very important message: either study material or mastery book. Use any one of the books. We cover all the questions. And as Rahul has said, at least in my class, I keep telling work it out 2 times. Okay, so that minimum repetition 2 times is required to get that kind of an expertise. That is point number one. Point number two: attend my marathon videos. This time also we are doing, I'm doing a case study digest revision, RTP will be there, MTP will be there, and theory marathon is going to happen in the coming 1 month's time. So please attend those sessions also. It will be very, very useful because we'll be updating yourself with the latest questions. And very important thing that Rahul, you taught me right now is, take certified answers and evaluate. So I can also do this for many of my students. That can benefit the other students also. Like how the evaluator is evaluating marks, and I can put that in my YouTube channel so everyone can benefit from that. Thank you so much for that feedback also. I will
Right.
definitely work on that. So any one of you wants your certified copy to be evaluated, just give it to me. Your name will not be disclosed, but that can benefit the other students also as to how the evaluation process is actually happening. A very, very important point, Rahul. Thank you so much for that. Now I'll go to the next question. Rahul, in AFM, did you find any areas particularly difficult or tough? Like normally students say Forex. I just want to know what is your take on which topic is difficult for you in AFM.
Because you mentioned about the chapter, I recall what happened during the first week of September. So that was the first week of my exam leaves. I was referring to the study material only for solving all the questions. There are about, I think, 50 questions in IFM chapter, which I was solving one by one. It took me around 4 days to solve all of those 50 questions. My sister had just come to my room at that point in time when I was solving the question. Nothing was going into my head. The anger that I had on Forex, I just lashed out on her. I felt really bad after that, of course. But what I think, I did a very unconventional thing thereafter. I closed my books, opened the Zerodha app, placed an actual options order. I wanted to understand how exactly the real market works because, like I told, I was very much interested in the stock market even before my CA finals. So I placed the actual options market order, and after losing a bit of money in there, I realized that the theory is not the same as how the actual market works. Because as per what we theoretically learn, we buy an option today, until the expiry date we have to wait so that the delivery happens. But in the actual world, how it works is it just acts as an independent instrument. I buy it today, I can sell it tomorrow, although the price of it is obviously determined by the underlying. So if I have to speak about the difficult subject, this was of course the thing. And thereafter, after this incident happened, I came back to my book. I understand what the nuances were, and the exam question for me, AFM was as if all the stars had aligned. Okay. On the exam day, I saw the question paper. I still remember the question. I think it was question number 3. The question that came in the exam was as per what the real market works and not how the theoretical market was as per our study material, at least a little different. Had if I not done what I did in the month of September, that is opening the Zerodha app, I would have, of course, been able to solve that question, but it's just a factor of time. I would have consumed a bit more time to understand that question, of course. And thereafter, this thing happened, right? I was almost in tears during the month of September, looking out all of those questions. But then I solved all the study material questions 3 times of those chapters specifically. I literally turned all of those tears into my passion. I was not ready to accept that something of this chapter, which is totally relevant to the stock market, is something that I cannot beat it. Which is why I solved all the questions 3 times until unless I got a grip. The 4 days of time which I spent for solving all of those questions came down to even half a day till my last reading. That was the kind of thing that started happening. I started feeling more satisfied and achieved each time I solved those questions.
Amazing, Rahul. So you actually invested money to learn Forex and derivatives, is it? How much amount did you invest in the stock market?
Yeah.
Sample, I just want to know approximate 1,000,
Let us
2,000.
keep that.
Let's see, give that
Let us
confidential, is
keep
it?
that aside.
Okay, so friends, I keep sharing the Money Control app, the Zerodha app. Rahul Jain used it practically. All of you also please spend some time on the practical side because, as you said, January attempt was an atom bomb. It really brought down a lot of people. Many people got very much demoralized with that whole thing. So I think that would be my next question to you. How did you handle the overall January AFM paper? That's the first attempt you're writing, and you scored 58 marks, if I remember it right. Correct? That is a very, very,
Right. Yes.
good marks considering the way the paper was. Because when the exam got over, I got students messaging me that it's extremely difficult and they're unable to handle that. So just share your experience about the January 26 attempt.
So each question you're asking, it's just making me feel how blessed I was for writing the AFM questions. Like I told, it was as if all the stars had aligned, as if it was a miracle. Soon after my FR exam, I prayed. I literally prayed that AFM exam should be difficult, because FR exams for me went a little bad. I was not able to manage time properly, and my toughest of all the 6 papers was audit paper. So everybody has this in mind, right? That if your one paper goes tough, the other one will be easy. So I did not want audit to be difficult. That is why I prayed AFM paper to be difficult. Maybe someone heard me out there. So that is how I felt on the exam day. If I have to speak about what really happened, as soon as I saw my question paper, I usually do not look at people around me, but after the exam, I just come to that point. But as soon as I referred to the exam paper, I was very happy. While all the others apparently were crying out loud, I was really very happy looking at 2 MCQ questions coming directly from the study material. One problem is that portfolio management question or mutual fund question, which sir usually calls it a nonsense question, because that question does not really make sense, right? Uh, as soon as I saw that question, what was coming to my mind is nonsense question. That was literally my what my mind was screaming out loud. And even if it was the toughest question paper, like I told, MCQ had 2 direct questions from the study material, and also descriptive. I think 1.5, 2 questions were directly from the study material, and rest of the questions, I think the question paper was not supposed to be named AFM at all. It should have been it should have been renamed to maths. I was literally writing there, let us assume this value to be X. Let us take this as Y and all of those things. I calculated the answers. I was really surprised when I got 58 actually. I was supposed to get much higher than that. That was the confidence level I had after my exams, is what I feel. And
So I
the
think the
timing was
practice is
perfect. The
what
time
helped you out.
was right. If I have to just
So
add
sorry
one
to
more
interrupt.
point,
Yeah, yes.
no, that's all right, sir. If I have to just add one more point, the time management aspect, like I told, FR paper for me was a terrible paper if I have to speak from the time perspective. So I had made sure that time management is something that I'll be really focusing on the AFM paper. I even wrote a bit of the extra question that I had. So that was something that you should all be keeping in mind as well.
So to summarize, that's what your practice is what helped you in the examination is what I understand. Correct me if I'm, if I'm
Right.
wrong there. Am I right? Because you kept on doing questions again and again,
Yes,
so
yes,
that gave
that's
you
right.
the confidence to work it out, right? Okay. Okay. So again, friends,
It's not
work
just
out
about
every question
confidence,
twice.
but also about
Yeah.
the time.
Time management also. Yes, yes. Time management is extremely important, but that also by default comes when you practice more and more and more questions. Correct. That's when you are able
Correct.
to do it in the right time. Great, Rahul. Excellent. I don't want to take too much of your time. One other last question from my side. Sorry, there are 2 more questions from my side. One is many students skip the AFM theory. What is your opinion on that?
It would be a very costly mistake if I have to really be frank about it. Even I had first initially thought that I would be skipping theory and only be focusing on the practical. But then I thought if I am skipping theory, it will be 15 to 20 marks at stake, and I'll be appearing only for the 80-mark paper. So I would suggest you guys not to really skip theory. But if you're short on time, just glance through the theory of a few chapters. Like we are very sure that startup finance, there'll be a theory. Securitization, there will obviously be a theory. And there are certain times even risk managements keep on being asked. The strategy would be that you just read the study material once, mark all the important things, and read those marked items once again. That's it.
Okay, so friends, that message, let's take it very seriously. Study all the theory chapters. So now, Rahul, just I would add one point. As you have rightly said, startup finance, risk management, there is a chapter on securitization is there. There are some small exclusive theory. Mutual funds has theory, mergers has theory. I have covered all this theory and it's there in my app. You can cover the entire theory of these chapters in just 4 to 5 hours. and it's not to make any pricing. We have priced it only 99 rupees. That's just so that you people can benefit. I cannot bring the price below 100. That's the reason I've kept it like that. If you want, you can take that. Okay. This time, Rahul, what I'm doing is, of late questions are coming from security valuation, forex theory, and like swaptions are coming, options. So now this time I'm going to do a live theory session marathon on these chapters separately, and I've planned it like evening 7:30 to 9, because many students are comfortable and they can't study theory for a very long time. So like that, I'll be planning a 1 week session extra for all the students, so they can learn this theory also, and they can do the remaining theory through the recorded lectures. That way, in hardly maybe 10 to 15 hours of time, they can master the theory. So friends, please give theory high level of importance, just like what Rahul Jain has said. Now, Rahul, my last question to you. One day before the exam, or that's what I call it as ODBE always. How did you study during that 1.5 days time? How did your preparation go?
So what I had done for especially the practical chapter, practical subjects per se, I had kept a small, in the back of my regular notes only, I had taken a few sheets out. I had marked all the LDR questions. Rather than taking any other last day questions, I made sure that I have to solve the questions that I feel is relevant to me a day before the exam. So each chapter, I used to write security valuation. There is this concept in a very crisp manner. It used to not even cross half a page. I used to just write what are the important concepts, just the name of the concepts, so that as soon as I see that concept, I used to know what are the things that I have to be studying. And just below the concepts, I used to write study material, this question I have to solve, mastery book, this question I have to solve. That is what I had prepared, that one sheet. And for theories, I used to just brush through. Like I told, for study material, I had marked all the important ones. Wherever I see points, I used to just brush through the theory. I spent, I guess, each morning. There is like 2 mornings you get just before the exam. Each morning, I used to spend a little time on revising the theory. And AFM, because it has just like 15 chapters, I wouldn't say that it will be very difficult for us all to for us to be focusing on those 1.5 days. If you have to speak of any other subject like DT, it takes like humongous things. So there you'll have to skip a few things. In AFM, that is not the case. So you might have to just, in short, if I have to speak of, to summarize things, just have a little bit of theory written about what are the concepts there in the chapter. And just below that, mark the questions that are relevant for you to be solved on the last day of the exam.
Fantastic. So LDR is what your last day revision questions mark and do the theory part, correct? So friends, when you're doing your study
Correct, yes.
material or the mastery book, please mark the important questions. Or option 2, I have brought out an ODBE book one day before the exam that covers in a very compressed way 100 to 120 questions. If you have not marked it, go for ODB. But if you have marked it, that is much better, is what I understand. Am I right, Rahul? Because if they are doing 50 questions of forex, they will know which question better to be taken on the last day revision part. Am I right? Great. Great, Rahul. So I think that part is
Yes,
also
exactly.
clear, Rahul. Very happy that you answered all my questions. The students might also be waiting to ask you questions. Just before the students ask you, my last request to you. Can you have any message for the students? You can just pass on that message. So based on that, they can also have multiple doubts which they are open to ask you now.
Okay. So one thing I would really want to say is that you have to enjoy to the fullest, okay? Be it whatever the journey is about. There is this course in itself is a very long-term course, right? 4.5, 5 years is not that very much easy. You'll have to have enough breaks in between so that you also focus on what studies you're doing, right? So have that enough space in between is what I would want to say. And second thing, what really pushed me each day is I knew what my why was. Ikigai. I read that book Ikigai, which really taught why we should be, living each day. I knew that reason. Even if you see today, I have right behind my laptop, never forget why you started. And just below that, I have a picture of mine with the Lamborghini. That is what I have been working for. Even during my exam preparations time, if you had come, my all the background wall that you are looking at was fully filled with Lamborghini posters, all the other car posters. I at 22, I still feel like I'm a kid who is fanboying towards a dream that little Rahul had dreamt when he was 10 years old, right? And one thing which I usually see people doing is they go behind marks. I don't think so that is really relevant, especially in a course like CA. Papers like AFM of Jan 26 is proving it time and again that if you're chasing marks, you're that only marks that you'll be getting is zero, if I have to be harsh a little. So just chase clarity about the chapter and have a really good environment. Like I was saying, my parents are my biggest strength. I used to go out with them every evening. Every evening on a Sunday, and it be it on my exam sleeve or otherwise, it's made sure that I spend that amount of time. I have really good friends. I have really good mentors at my coaching center. People know me very personally at there. I can just the feeling that I can call them anytime I want makes me feel very satisfied. So keeping positivity around you is really very important. And people might be thinking that getting an AIR is really very difficult. I would say that is a myth as of now. Just chase clarity and you will be able to easily get it with a right amount of consistency in your approach. That's it.
Fantastic, Rahul. So basically, Lamborghini is because you want to buy a Lamborghini.
Yes, obviously, sir.
So when you buy it, please let me know. I'll come for a ride with you. Okay. Students, you also be in touch with
Sure,
Rahul.
sir.
We have a very good opportunity here. So a very good message, Rahul. We all learn happily, understand and learn all the things. And yes, Ikigai is one of the books which I haven't read. I will definitely make a point to read it. I've been hearing about this multiple times, but I never really got time. I have the book kept with me also, but I never really got the time. I think all my questions are answered. My dear students, it's your time now. Anybody has any questions to ask, please raise your hands. I will ask you, I'll request you to unmute. That time you can unmute and speak so that it doesn't, clutter over here. Yes, friends. Anybody has any questions to ask, just raise your hands. You know how to raise your hand, right? There's a hand symbol in your Google Meet. Just press on that. Rahul, I think you've answered all the questions so well that they don't have any further doubts itself. You have told everything in a very elaborate and very clear manner. But I think there are some messages. Let me check that. Yes, friends. No doubts. No one. Should I randomly catch any one of you to ask a
There might
question?
there might be a little apprehension, sir, that only AFM questions will be answered. Maybe if, with
No,
your
no, no. Any
permission, they can be
questions?
given.
FR, audit,
Yeah.
IDT, DT, IBS. Whatever questions you want, you're free to talk to a rank holder today. Come on, ask him whatever you want. Suraj, Prema, anyone? Many of them. Okay, I think Suraj has sent a message. Okay, you can also send us a message if you are uncomfortable unmuting and speaking. Okay, wait. We'll go one by one. I think we'll start with Suraj. Congrats, Rahul. My question is, how many subjects can we study in a day? That's the first question, Rahul.
So for this, I wish to just say one thing that since the past 22 years, I am with my own self. But even then, I know very little about me. But the paradox is that that is the most anybody know about me. So things are very personal to you. You will have to figure out what works for you. People are unique in their own self, like just anybody else. So you will have to approach things. First, if I have to speak about how my journey was, I started with studying 2 or 3 chapters in a single day, but that wasn't working out. I felt like I'm reaching nowhere at all. I take up AFM first. I spent about 10 days even reading audit and taxation parallelly. After the end of 10 days, I feel like nothing has happened at all. So thereafter, I changed my strategy to just having about 2 or 3 hours of audit each day. Thereafter, because audit was my difficult subject for me personally. So thereafter, I used to keep a mainstream subject which I used to spend most of the hours during the day. So Suraj, I would suggest you to analyze what are the things, experiment with things. That is when you will realize what works for you.
Very good answer. So you can experiment what is comfortable. Some people are comfortable doing one subject in a day. Some of you are comfortable doing multiple subjects. But at least keep 2 or 3 is what I think even Rahul is intending to say over here. Because only one might become too much into one and you might not be able to finish. But if you're comfortable, that also go ahead, but do what you're comfortable and confident. That's what ultimately matters from the exam perspective.
Correct.
Great. So the next question is from Snekha. How to approach the IBS paper? So did you actually carry a suitcase to the examination hall
I,
as I see in all the Instagram reels?
I definitely knew that this question would be coming. That's why I'm having my IBS question paper alongside with me. So preparation wise, I wish to just tell one thing, that do whatever you want to do. ICI knows how to outsmart you in the IBS paper. You take whatever books you want to do. You will that will not be enough. ICI is just going to challenge you that you. This is the question that I'm asking. I challenge you to find those answers. So two 58s that I got, one in IBS and the other one was in AFM. Both of them surprised me a little. AFM, I was surprised because I was expecting much more. I'm just waiting for the certified copies to understand where I went wrong. And second was IBS paper. Uh, 58 was something that I was not at all expecting at all. 40 आ जाए तो बस मैं pass हो जाता बस was the only mindset that I had about IBS paper. Speaking of how to approach IBS, just solve a few case studies. That will be something really very important. Secondly, SPOM subjects are generally neglected. I would suggest you to at least have a hold on one of those SPOM chapters. Just focus on what you're reading more. You can skip. For me, example, I had skipped costing a little. I mean, I had a fair idea of where to find concepts, but I had not gone in detail about it. And thirdly, what books to carry. If I have to answer that, take whatever books are possible. Because I remember one question coming from RTP, literally from RTP, that picked it up and put it. The question was about FR. There was a question about ESOP replacement and all. You can just refer to that as well. So take all the possible books possible. And I had planned my IBS preparations 2 months before my IBS exams. The only preparation was not how to study, how to carry my books and what to carry and how to arrange my books. So what I had done was, during my exams, I had kept below. People usually stack books one on the other. It will be very difficult for us to take the books, keep it aside, and then pull out the book from the between. So what I had done was, I had kept the books below. I could usually vertically take it out. So it used to save both my energy and time. So that is something that I would really suggest. But again, like I told, ICI holds the potential to outsmart you all in your preparations in IBS. You can, what you can do is only pray for your IBS exams. That's it.
So carry a big suitcase and pray that it doesn't go very bad for you, is it? Great, great, great. Okay,
Yes,
thank you,
that's
Rahul.
it.
I think next is Minu. Minu, you have a doubt. Tell me your strategy for audit.
So audit ke liye, it was personally a little difficult for me because it is overwhelming, right? You cannot be studying all the 19 chapters all together. So I had focused on all the important chunks. Professional ethics, I read, I get 18 to 20 marks, or if I'm luckier, I get 25 marks. So that those kind of analysis I had prepared for each chapter. Which chapters gives me more marks was something that I focused really during my exam preparation time. I had referred to one specific notebook, one specific faculty's book. It was a concise summary of the whole entire audit within within 160 pages book. So that really helped me in scoring for my audit exams. I got 72 in audit, which again was very surprising to me. So in
Fantastic,
short, if you have
fantastic.
to be preparing for audit exams, just make sure that you are focusing not on all of it, but a few of the chapters.
Audit is a nightmare for me also. I scored only 46 in my exam, so I can share your pain here. Okay, Priyadarshini is asking, when you completed the lectures much earlier, could you tell how did you prepare up to date? Like basically her doubt is that how did you update yourself? So if there are some amendments coming in, that's her doubt.
So while I was attending the lectures, I had not ordered the study material already. So about the amendment part, I had anyways ordered it later at a point in time. That is why it was not that very much difficult for me to keep up with the amendment. If you're speaking from the perspective of how I coped up with the direct tax amendment, which was taught to me during the classes, uh, it was not difficult for me, quite honestly, because like I told, the entire preparation that I was doing was only from study material, be it any chapter, even DT for that matter. Each page of the study material knows how my fingerprint is. So that was something which really helped me to cope up with the amendments as well, Priyadarshini. If I hope
Yes.
I have answered I have answered your question.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So, and Priyadarshini, just one more point to add, income tax or any subject, once you learn everything, amendments are just an add-on to it. It doesn't take much time. But just because of the amendment, if you keep the subject towards the end, you are leaving out of the 80 to 85% of the syllabus, pending. So that is a very important suggestion. Complete your lectures at the earliest rather than delaying it towards the end. A very, very valid point. I think the next question is from Aditya. Okay, if you have any further queries, you can send a message below. Okay, I'm reading it and I'm going down. How many revision for other subjects? So AFM, you did, I think, multiple revisions. So you're asking, what about the other subjects? How much time did you revise, audit, FR, etc.?
So each subject I had planned for 3 revisions. Although I had planned for 3 revisions, I could complete about what 3.5, 4 revisions. So my whole strategy was that my first reading I have to spend as much time as possible. I have spent during my examination leave only about 2 months on my first reading. That was in continuation to what I had left before my exam leave. So 2 months I have spent on first reading. I have spent 2 months without restricting myself to any boundaries of times, because my whole focus was on how much quality, with how much quality I can approach chapters rather than how much quantity of revisions I focus on. 3 revisions I knew. First revision, if I am taking enough time, my second revision will automatically be a little faster, right? Because I have much more clarity about the subject. I have much more hold on the subject. So drastically, my second revision time went down to, I guess, about a month, or even less than a month. I completed my second reading. So was the case for all the other subjects as well. So was the case for all the subsequent readings as well. But if I have to speak of one specific one specific subject which all of us are worried about, that is audit. I have done multiple revisions for audit, especially for those chapters which has a higher weightage of marks in the exam. Each day I used to study audit for about 2 hours. Yeah, approximately 2 hours I used to spend time on audit. So to sum it up, around 3.5, 4 revision is what I've done for each subject.
4 revisions is amazing, Rahul. Everyone take this message, do 3 to 4 revisions, then you're definitely on the way to get an All India rank. Great, Rahul. Very happy to get all these insights. Yes, students, any other doubts? I think most of the doubts are clear, Rahul. We'll just wait for 30 seconds more just to see if anybody puts up anything else.
Sure.
Yes, Sophia, for all the subjects you refer only study material. I joined now only. Okay, Sophia, that's not an issue at all. So did you refer study material for all the subjects, or did you refer any other books is what Sophia is asking you here?
No, I was exclusively referring only to study material, because like I told, my only question was when I was having that question of whether to be referring to the study material or any other material, I see myself looking at things like AIR1 at least at like 4 to 5 places in my room. When I see that, I only feel that I should be sticking on to study material. If I refer to any other faculty material, I felt like there could be something that is missed out. If there could be many things that could be like small little things which might not be that very much relevant, but exams might surprise us by bringing those chapters. So if I have to speak of an instance where study material really mattered to me, was IDT paper. People were crying out loud for IDT paper this time, because things were asked straight up from the study material where people least expected it to come from. Things from circulars and all which were there in the study material is what the questions were tested, all the students were tested on, right? So study material is what I referred to during all through my preparation. Yes.
Great, Rahul. So I think you can all stick to the study material, friends. I think we have covered most of your queries, Rahul. Students, I believe all the queries are done, right? Yes, there is one more. I think this will be the last one that we'll take it up now, Rahul. Okay, Leah, hi Rahul, did you do a revision of a subject after completing studying, or chapter-wise, or chapter-wise in between? I'm sorry, I didn't follow it completely. Did you do a revision of a subject? Okay, so maybe you did all 10 chapters and again second revision 10 chapters, or did you do one chapter 2 times and then the second chapter 2 times, third chapter 2 times? That is what what she's intending is what I felt. Leah, correct me if I'm wrong there, okay? Please, Rahul.
So the chapter wise thing doesn't really work, I would say. You would be in an endless loop of having things. So I would again suggest you all to have a complete reading of a subject. That is what even I followed. Have a complete reading of the subject, switch on to the next subject. And once you're done with the whole six subject cycle, or rather five subject cycle, I went on to the next again reading, which I again started with the same sequence.
Great, great. So full chapter and then you did it again, right? Great, great, great. Yes, and
Right.
Gauri
The
has
whole
sent you one
subject
more
and then
message.
next.
Yes. How did you manage the MCQs? Did you attempt towards the end or in between?
So I had not attended it at the end because, and neither did I attend it at the beginning. We tend to invest a lot of time if we start doing the MCQs right from the beginning. And at the end, I did not do it because I'll be in a panic mode. I do not want to just simply be marking some random things, right? Because if we have to speak of how much portion of MCQs really matter, it is not 30-70 proportion. We have to think from the perspective of how much we can score. So if I am scoring 25 marks and my whole paper is about my whole marks in the paper is about what, 80 marks, the proportion becomes 25 to 45, or 45, 55, around that proportion. So that is what I thought. And MCQ was having a lot of importance to me. So I spent in middle of the exam, after I think one or two descriptive questions I used to solve, switch on to MCQ, spend 30 to 45 minutes on MCQ, thereafter switch to the other descriptive questions quickly I used to write.
Fantastic, Rahul. I think so that way you will be able to score the MCQs also, and you will get cool off time in the beginning to, when you do the other questions, right? Yes, friends, I think
Correct.
all the doubts, Rahul has been patient enough to clear all the doubts. I think we'll wrap up with this, Rahul. I think all the students, all the doubts are clarified now. Yeah. So friends, please take up all these lessons, whatever is shared in the last 1 hour. I think we spent almost 1 hour time. But Sophia has one more last question. We'll take this as the last one now. How did you manage time for problem papers? Yeah, how did you manage time for
Yeah, so
problem papers?
I had actually covered that earlier. Like I told, FR was a terrible paper for me. I almost had to skip the last question, but I somehow just scribbled things. But how to manage is something which certified copy analysis taught me. What are relevant things are the only things that you should be writing, right? We tend to invest a lot of time in the initial period of the exam, where we spend about I remember for paper I spent about 45 minutes on my first problem itself, which was for about 10 marks. So that had taught me things. Mock test paper is something really important which will help you manage time. So solve mock test papers, it will help you manage time. And secondly, be very mindful of what to write in the exams.
Perfect. In fact, Rahul, I have now set up a new feature in my app. I give them live MCQ tests. Students, please, enroll for that. It is very useful. You have 2 exams for each chapter. Forex MCQ 50-50 questions. You will live get to know how much marks you're scoring in that exam. So please utilize that. That's what Rahul is also telling you now. So what I've seen is people are enrolling, but they're not writing it. They are writing, procrastinating it. So that is a very important message to all of you. Please do the MCQ questions also and do maximum problems. So Rahul, I think I'll wrap up with this. First of all, thank you so much, Rahul. You really spent a lot of time explaining everything to the students. All your messages are very, very useful, and I really and strongly believe that each and every one of you who attended this live session would definitely benefit from this. And friends, please do, once your results come, please do message me and let me know how these tips actually helped you. Okay. So please, that way I can also forward the message to Rahul, and it will be a very happy moment for Rahul also that
Yes.
his areas have actually helped you to get very good marks in the upcoming May or September or January, whichever attempt you are writing. So Rahul, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and thank you on behalf of all the students, and thank you all the students for taking up the time, sitting and investing to learn how this can be done. Okay. Great effort from Rahul's side to explain everything in so much depth. And I will always be grateful for you to give us this chance to speak to the students. Okay. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice time. Take care. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you for having me here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.